We're in Shanghai for round 2 of our F1 career mode now from this 2025 season. A rough first round, just rough debut with this all new American Trackhouse Racing team. And now we come into this weekend here in Shanghai looking for a step up and just overall improvement. I'm not necessarily expecting to be on par with my teammate Carlos Sainz this weekend, but I would say by race 5 or 6 is when I expect to be going head-to-head, toe-to-toe with Carlos Sainz on the racetrack. But these first few races all about just getting acclimated with this all-new Formula 1 scene for myself and just hoping, for the best results and pushing as hard as we can for the best results here now. And it all starts with having a successful start to your weekend from practice to qualifying. And here we are in practice around this Shanghai circuit, and really a beautiful racetrack and just a fun venue as we were quite comfortable. I felt like in the car and in the way it was handling, and the only critique I had, and I had the same critique in Melbourne actually from Albert Park last episode to kick off our career, was a bit understeery at times and just a little bit too understeery. It was a little bit frustrating, so that was kind of coming into the car into this weekend as well. So that was something I was paying attention to and working on trying to kind of find a solution to, and I was really struggling to find a solution to it. Now usually I kind of adjust the camber and the toe of the car, and that kind of seems to do it, but it didn't really seem like a lot was working for me no matter what I tried. But nonetheless, we end up P1 with Sainz in 13th on the softs, myself on the mediums down in 19th place here for this Trackhouse team now, as we were focusing in on qualifying for round 2 of our F1 career. And of course, in the original debut episode in Melbourne, we did not even get out of Q1. It was pretty rough. We did not advance to Q2. I think that's the goal today, at least get to Q2 and say, okay, we at least did that. Can we go further though, and of course maybe get into Q3? That's going to be a bit of a stretch today, I think, but never say never. As we get on to the racetrack now and we get through these first few corners and right off the bat on the soft compound tire, feeling quite confident again. I felt like I was overall finding a good confidence in the car that I maybe didn't quite have in Australia, but the question is, will that show on the leaderboard? That's really the question that we're going to solve here, or have an answer to, in a matter of moments now. So down the long straightaway we're about to head here, and of course into that very heavy braking zone, that very heavy braking hairpin. Going to be a great opportunity all weekend long for some overtakes now, as I brake just past the 100 marker there on the left side. Not at the 100, just a few meters past it you want to kind of brake, and that's usually seems to be the sweet spot here, as we'll get it hooked up through the final turn, down the front straightaway, using up some curbing. Just don't want to float the car over the curbs now. P7 just behind our teammate of Sainz. I was happy with that, and it would be enough. P11, P12 in Q1. Doohan, Tsunoda, Butler, Behrman, Calimere all out in Q1. So obviously our pace right there for both of the Trackhouse cars was not enough to advance into Q3, so we're going to look to do exactly that here in Q2, just finding a little bit extra pace here. My first lap on these tires in Q2 felt a little bit sloppy, so I knew as this lap was going on, I was going to probably come back around to the start-finish line and see that I was going to be probably the slowest car on the racetrack here. So you can see a mistake right there, really slow exit now as we hook it up through the final turn. Actually a fairly solid final turn, but that's not going to fix anything. So sure enough, look at that, we are dead last in Q2. So having to go out for another lap. Fernando Alonso, Nico Hulkenberg there for a kick. Sauber 13th and 14th just in front of us, and you got Albon and Esteban Ocon all the way up in P11. Meanwhile, his teammate of Behrman, rookie teammate, really struggling in the start of this season. Now, of course, it's going to be fun to watch the rookies all season long progress, including myself now, but we were finding heaps of time. 0.6 of a second, 0.7 of a second, 0.8, 0.9 a full second as we come up to the end of the lap. Surely this is going to be a competitive lap now as we go into the final hairpin, and now 1.2 seconds, 1.3, 1.4, it just continues to go up, 1.5, 1 corner to go. What's it going to be as we exit the final turn? A solid effort there on the exit, a 1.5 second gain. It was good enough for nothing. Sainz goes P8, and we still go slowest by a full tenth off of Hülkenberg and Alonso. And now scratching my head after that one, to say the least. We've got some work to do. We've made some gains, but 15th is still not good enough. Let's head to the grid.
It's time to see how our drivers are stacking up after yesterday's exciting qualifying session. World champion Max Verstappen starts from pole position, and it's Charles Leclerc in P2. Considering the rest of the grid, we have Hamilton, Russell, Liam Lawson, Norris, Oscar Piastri, Jackson, Sainz, Gasly, Ocon, Albon, Fernando Alonso, Hülkenberg, Golden Boy, Doohan, Tsunoda, Butler, Behrman, and Cali Meyer. And now it's time to head down to the track.
So we're looking at a two-stop here today. We're going to be starting on the mediums, going on to the mediums, then ending on softs. A similar strategy to what we started with at Melbourne, but of course we did swap it around to put the soft tire in the middle of the run instead of the end of the run. Formation lap is ready. Let's kick things off here as Max Verstappen leads us to the green.
Here we go then, the formation lap gets underway and the excitement here is building as we near ever closer to the start of the race. Which team will come out on top? Who's got their strategies right for today's race? Well, we'll soon find out.
A mix of hards and medium compounds being used, including the leader of Verstappen electing to go onto the hards with the Ferraris starting on mediums right behind him.
As the cars make their way back to the starting grid to form up and get ready for lights out, let's hope the race ahead today is a thrilling one that will go down as a memorable Grand Prix in the history books.
Right, guys, thanks everyone for the hard work. Still got some work to do myself, and I'm going to work on moving our way forward today.
Take your time, mate. Long race ahead. You got this.
So we're ready to go racing here from the Chinese Grand Prix, round 2 of many yet to come in this 2025 season now, as we line up behind the pair of Kick Sauber cars of Nico Hülkenberg, Fernando Alonso, as well as Cali Meyer will line up the back of the grid as Max Verstappen is set to lead the field down into turn 1. Can he get into turn 1 before the Ferraris, who are going to be all over him on the medium compound tire? Nonetheless, we're ready to go racing. Lights out, 28 laps of racing underway. Verstappen is covering off everybody well, but hold on, a Ferrari up the inside into turn number 1. Charles Leclerc going to the leader, Leon, here in the Chinese Grand Prix, and he's trying to bring his teammate of Lewis Hamilton with them now, and sure enough, Charles Leclerc takes the lead of the Chinese Grand Prix. Lewis Hamilton immediately going after Verstappen for P2 now, and you can see George Russell just behind Lando Norris, and then Liam Lawson as well. Lawson had a bit of a rough start in his debut for Red Bull last episode. Verstappen pounces back on Hamilton, says it's not over. Verstappen maintains P2. It's going to be a slow start for Verstappen and Russell as well, and everybody on the hards, but I expect as these laps go on, that Red Bull and others as well on the hards are just going to continue to get quicker over this first run now. 28 laps of racing. We have settled in between the Kick Sauber cars, so it's been a good start for myself. We actually gained a position, but the question is, how long can we hold on to it for? So we got Alonso in front, Hülkenberg just behind, is nearly into the back there. Fernando Alonso now to start this run out, though pretty happy to be at least up into 14th position now. But a lot of racing. This long straightaway right here is going to be an opportunistic spot for drivers to go in and do exactly this. Make a move up my inside. Nico Hülkenberg using the pace of that Kick Sauber to get alongside me into this hairpin now, but fortunately we stay ahead on the exit there, really forcing his hand to back out of it now, as actually Lewis Hamilton has gotten up into 2nd position now. So Verstappen is down to 3rd as Russell maintains 4th over Lando Norris and Liam Lawson, then Oscar Piastri, and then of course Russell's teammate and rookie driver Aiden Jackson now as we continue behind Fernando Alonso. DRS of course does not open until lap 3, unlike what we see of course with real life Formula 1. Nonetheless, I was kind of okay with that here. We're still well comfortably within the range of Fernando Alonso, and now we start lap 3, and DRS has officially been enabled, and we're putting some pressure on the two-time world champion now, as he's trying to put some pressure on Alex Albon in the Williams now, who's had a great start here and had a great race as well to kick off the season in Melbourne. So watch out for Alex Albon in the Williams. What can he do today again to back up his run from Albert Park now, as Leclerc and Hamilton still lead this field. Now Alonso going for a move around the outside, a bit of contact there between himself and Alex Albon as well. They'll go wheel to wheel. This is an opportunity for myself as we go into this final turn. Albon loses out to Fernando Alonso, but now he'll have the rear wing open on Alonso here. He's going to fight back to the left side. I can't really do much, don't quite have enough of a run. My problem is, you look at the battery amount. I have really burned through my battery early on in this race now. Albon contact again with Alonso. He slips and I look up the inside. We'll try to go around the outside now, get that power down, but as you can see, as we exit, Albon just has just enough to stay in it and barely clears myself. But hold on, this is still far from over. We'll lunge one up the inside. We'll try to slide in between Alonso and Albon. We're successful. Up into P13. Nice little cheeky pass right there, and we continue to try and move forward. But my problem, like I said, is I've burned through my battery, my overtake. We have got no battery to work with. We will drain through that within about maybe 4 or 5 seconds of using it. So I am a sitting duck now on that long back straightaway, front straightaway as well, especially if I don't have DRS, and we are right now falling out of DRS range of Fernando Alonso. And as we started the back straightaway, I did have DRS, but look at the battery now. I used every little bit I had left to stay in front of Albon, and now we've got basically nothing. Once you dip below 10%, that battery becomes pretty well ineffective. As we start lap 6, Lando Norris up the inside of George Russell. He moves through into P4, says thank you very much. Verstappen, don't be surprised if we start to see him find some pace, as Liam Lawson has just found some pace now. Later that lap, he passes Russell, who drops to P6 now. We continue in the DRS, but no battery to push, and that's perfect for Albon. He is able to breeze past me using his battery and takes back 13th place from myself. Now, I couldn't really defend it there. I mean, it's just, we need to save some battery, as I've put myself in a really compromised position early in this race of having basically no battery to push on these straightaways, which is going to make the rest of this race really difficult, or at least until we can save some battery. And when I save some, or when I say save some, I want to have at least 65 to 75% battery, and right now we have only got about 16%, so we are not in a good position. Nonetheless, we're going to continue to just try and do what we can. As you can see, some battles again. Ocon and Alonso. This is another opportunity now. We've got to take every opportunity we can get, but I didn't want to use any battery right now. But how about this? Albon, 3 wide on the inside into turn 1. He's going to get a maybe 2-for-1 special. Esteban Ocon backs out of it now. Alonso's not going to make it easy on Alex as we go to the left side of the Haas now. Of course, fellow American team on the grid, as we will go through and pass the Haas up into 13th again, as now Liam Lawson making a move here on Lando Norris. That'll put Red Bull 3rd and 4th. Lawson having a solid run in his second race as a Red Bull driver, and 3 seconds off his teammate currently of Max Verstappen now, as we continue to try and just remain within that 1 second gap of Fernando Alonso, as we have a yellow actually behind us, as now one of the McLarens is pitting. I believe that's Piastri, but Jack Doohan, who's going to have another mechanical failure. The rookie is going to start his F1 career with 2 back-to-back mechanical failures, as he's really going to hold up Tsunoda and Mayer as well, but no safety car. We stay green. Lewis Hamilton has come into the pits now as well. Hamilton's going to get those mediums off and probably put on a set of either mediums again or hards. He's going mediums there. So Hamilton committing to a 2-stop. Verstappen will move through into P2, and he's going to eventually become the leader of this race. And I believe Verstappen, of course, starting on the hards, I think he's committing to a one-stop strategy. Is that going to be the way to go? I don't know, because we saw it was not the way to go in Melbourne when, of course, the Ferraris tried it and Verstappen got the best of both of them on the two-stop. Well, Leclerc gives up the lead, and they've learned he's going to go into the softs, and they are committing as well to a two-stop strategy here in these final 20 laps of racing now. So Max Verstappen and Liam Lawson, Red Bull goes to the front. Now we're going to box as well, following Alonso and Albon into the pits. We'll get off these mediums for another set of fresh mediums. Could see some split strategy even between myself and these two cars right here in front of us of Alonso and Albon as well. But nonetheless, we'll come into our pit box and commit to another set of medium tires. And then, of course, that next and last pit stop will be jumping on to the soft tire, having to wait right there for Alonso, so a bit of a delay on pit exit now, but nonetheless, overall an okay stop, and you can see Alonso and Albon, they're going to be on mediums, Ocon on mediums as well, so everybody around us has maintained the same strategy that we are on. Overall, yeah, just still don't quite have the pace that we would like to have now. As you can see, here comes Esteban Ocon, and again, I'm even draining the battery at this point, but just he was able to stick with me the entire lap, and now he's going to pass us, and here comes Yuki Tsunoda as well, and for the second consecutive round to kick off our Formula 1 career, just struggling for pace right now in this Trackhouse machine, as we barely stay in front of Yuki Tsunoda, but just don't have a lot in it right now, and Hülkenberg's actually on the soft tire. He is on his way forward, 3 seconds behind in P17, but I would not be surprised if he runs us down and passes us as this run continues on. Verstappen and Lawson still 1-2. They're stretching this. They are going for the one-stop strategy, and so is Lando Norris and the pair of Mercedes as well, as we've got some news on Max Verstappen.
Yeah, guys, Verstappen is reporting that his left front is feeling terrible. Keep an eye on it.
A report, Verstappen, maybe some issues with that left front tires. He's about to pit, I believe, anyways now, and there it goes. Verstappen's tire, no, it's the right front. Verstappen's right front blows out instead, and Lawson takes the lead, but Verstappen's race is ruined. He's going to be way off the pace now, and nearly turns into an incident with his teammate, but fortunately they avoid that, but Verstappen has to limp it back around to the pits, and he's just now getting to the pits now. He's lost a massive amount of time. We're going to come through and pass Verstappen already, so Verstappen now is going to try and fight back for points, but he's going to commit to that one-stop strategy still, so that could maybe give him some hope, but what a disaster there for the Red Bull driver. Now, that's a huge change of events for the round one winner from Melbourne, who's without some chaos or safety car, he is not going to be winning here today in China, so just disaster all of a sudden for Verstappen as we continue to struggle. We lost touch with Ocon, and here comes Yuki Tsunoda saying thank you very much, and here comes Nico Hülkenberg on the soft compound tire as well, as some drivers on the hards are starting to box now, including the Mercedes drivers. So we continue to see Leclerc on the two-stop has already run down Liam Lawson. He's going to go around the outside here on the soft tire. Hamilton's about 4 seconds back. He's kind of struggled for a bit of pace here now, but Lawson immediately is going to box, so Lawson loses the lead. He's going to pit. Now Red Bull still hoping maybe Lawson has enough pace to fight for a win. Look at this mess. Now Hülkenberg passes me. Here comes Aiden Jackson on fresh tires as well. He's going to go up the inside. He's on that one-stop strategy. Of course, he will be going to the end on those mediums here. Now, as we don't make it too easy, but I'm not going to also make it too difficult on him, so we'll let him go right here in this final turn. We'll settle back in P13, but of course, I don't even know where we're going to be after we make our final pit stop, which is not far out, about 4 more laps before we come into the pits. Now Jackson gets past Hülkenberg now in that kick Sauber, as we're just trying to stay within DRS range of Hülkenberg kind of until we make our pit stop or until he pits first, either one, but nonetheless Ferrari, it's 1-2 for them. Leclerc, Hamilton, and then of course you got the McLarens of Norris and Piastri, and then George Russell, as we are nearly into the back of Tsunoda right there. But we know the Ferraris, they're going to be making some more pit stops here. They're going to have a lot of pace towards the end of this race, while Lawson is on that one stop. He's already pitted. We'll see what he can do. Lewis Hamilton is pitted, and now others are pitting as well right in front of us now. Is actually had a really bad final turn right there, so they're going to pit. We're going to come in another few laps. My teammate of Carlos Sainz has made his pit stop, and he is marching his way forward, and so is Pierre Gasly. Gasly would run me down and have an opportunity ready to overtake myself here on fresher tires, and here comes our teammate of Sainz as well, as we go side by side with Gasly into the right-hander, but not wanting to be in the way of Sainz, who's on a completely different strategy. I would move myself out of the way without even having to be told. I said, okay, I'm just going to move right here. This is going to be the best chance. Sainz has gotten to me. Get out of the way. Let him continue on with his strategy. His race set is completely different from ours right now, as he just simply outright has more pace than myself. So we're going to be coming into the pits here at the end of lap 20, going as far as we can, hanging on as long as we can, using some more battery as we have been able to save some charge a bit now as we come out just in front of Oscar Piastri. Both Ferraris have officially pitted. Leclerc is in. You can see on the track map he's not far behind Liam Lawson now as well. Actually, Lando Norris and George Russell, they have already committed, of course, to the one stop as well. They made their pit stops earlier than the Red Bull of Lawson, which is why they are out in front of him right now. So Lawson has to pass Russell and Norris straight up if he wants to win this race, and he's going to have to hold off a hard-charging Charles Leclerc in these final 8 laps of racing, which are now underway. We're finally coming in to make our second and final pit stop. It's not been a great day in Shanghai for us. We're going to come in and we'll get the soft compound tire on, and we're just going to hope for the best scenario. And I was really hoping we could save this soft for this final run, just so we can push really hard, have a good tire that's going to be able to be just really quick. But you can see some others in front of us are on the same tire. Alonso, Ocon as well. But we're going to come out in P18. I am certain we will finish better. Oliver Behrman struggling again. He's all the way down to 19th over what it says right now, 35 seconds. That gap's going to come down because he's not that far behind. You can see it, but he's more like 15 seconds maybe behind myself right now. So nonetheless, we continue to focus in on going forward, and here's Liam Lawson. Speaking of going forward, lap 22, he's run down George Russell. He's 3 seconds behind Lando Norris, and now this race seems to be falling into the hands of him as Charles Leclerc continues on in 4th, but we know he's on that 2-stop. He's going to be running down Russell. He's going to be running down Lawson as well. You see him not far behind, so pay attention to that as well. Lap 23, you can see we're running down some cars. Hulkenberg on the hards. He is really a sitting duck. He used up his softs earlier in that second run, and of course maybe the wrong move there, as we're going to have some opportunities here to make up some positions. Look at that defensive move from Hulkenberg on Ocon now, and now Hulkenberg on the inside of one of the Rookie of the Year competitors. That's Devin Butler now, as they will continue side by side, but Hulkenberg just drove around Butler, who's really struggling late in this race. Here goes Ocon for a move. I'm going to try and follow through as well. Still not a whole lot of battery. We have suffered all race long from poor battery management early on. 3 wide. Hulkenberg is sitting duck now. Will lunge one up the inside. Didn't quite feel confident to actually stick to that move, so I just going to tuck in behind them now, and we'll just wait for the opportunity, which is fading. Driving away off in the distance is Esteban Ocon. These two were leaning on each other. We'll try to get them both here on the exit of the final turn, opening up that rear wing. And now we get P16. We'll look for P15 on Butler. Hulkenberg's going to try and fight back. Butler's not going to make things easy. I'll sail it off around the outside. We'll take the 15th position. Can we run down Ocon? I don't know, because he drove away from us earlier. But can we run down Tsunoda? That's certainly a maybe with 5 laps to go. What a race here in Shanghai, with the drama from Verstappen to now great strategies playing out to make this race interesting. Here goes Liam Lawson. He has run down Lando Norris for the lead, but Leclerc is not far behind either. They're coming to 4 to go, and Lawson turns into Norris. On the corner entry, he turns left. What is that? Lawson saying, hey, I'm here to win. I'm going to get aggressive. He deliberately looks like he turns into Norris, but it's not over. Norris fights back with DRS, lunges it up the inside, and now he's going to use up Lawson. They run into each other, and here comes Charles Leclerc to pounce on these two beefing. 3 wide up the inside. He's going to say, thank you very much. You two are going to drive like children. I'm going to drive through and take the lead of this Grand Prix. Lawson instigated it. Norris is going to try and finish it, but no, Norris cannot hang on. He maintains 3rd, while Lawson maintains 2nd, but Charles Leclerc is in the front, in the lead of this race on a faster strategy at this point. But the question is, can he hold on? Because Lawson has the power of that Red Bull under him, and he's still got a chance before this race is over. But Lawson, we saw it. He drove into Lando Norris at the end of that long straightaway. Just a weird move, and Norris gave it back to him, used him up in turn 1, and of course we saw that Charles Leclerc was able to take full advantage of it. Great racing for the lead of this race, but I mean, certainly that's going to be a bit of a controversial moment between the pair of Lawson as well as Norris. Hamilton, smoke pouring out of the back of his Ferrari. His second race with his new team is going to come to an end as he runs P5, and it's day over for Hamilton coming to the final 2 laps of this race. That's a free spot for us. We'll move up into P14, so thank you very much. Now Spinner, Hulkenberg goes around to the hards now. Just a few moments after that all kicked off, and now Butler and Mayer, they arrive on the scene. They can't really do anything as Hulkenberg now gets out of the way. They'll go through. No safety car. There would have absolutely been a safety car if that was about 5 laps prior, as right now it's just simply too late for a safety car to come out. 2 laps to go. Liam Lawson is all over the back of Charles Leclerc. Can he make a move on this final lap? If he does make a move, I hope it's clean, just to save his reputation after that contact with Lando Norris. They exit the final turn. Leclerc leads. White flag in the air as I slide. Lawson's going for a move, I think, right here into turn 1. Here he goes up the inside. He's going to fire it off in there now, and he's going to use up Leclerc. He runs into the side of Leclerc as well, and he veers at him again. Lawson, just like he did to Norris, gets aggressive, gets physical, uses up Leclerc, who still tries to fight back but doesn't quite have the grip. Lawson drives away, and 2 consecutive battles for the lead where he gets physical for it. No penalties now as we start the final lap ourselves. We're going to fire one up the inside as well of Yuki Tsunoda, but hold on, we are running down Esteban Ocon. We could be in the mix for P12 as well as we pass Tsunoda for 14th. Leclerc never had enough for Liam Lawson, who would hang on through the DRS straight and out of the final turn or into the final turn. Liam Lawson, in controversial fashion, is going to come through to win his first Grand Prix in Formula 1. I'm sure other drivers will have something to say going into next episode following today's race as well, as it'll be Leclerc and Norris, the 2 drivers he used up on the podium. As for myself, we've got a run on Esteban Ocon. Can we make a move into this final hairpin? Yes, we can. Up the inside we go. Do we come out in front? I think we've just got the clear advantage on this final lap. He doesn't have anything. He's struggling. We clear him with ease into P12. Still not what we want, as our teammates well inside the points. Verstappen P10. We round the final turn. It's going to be P12, a career best effort, but still looking for more as we cross the stripe here in Shanghai. What a race, not necessarily for myself, but what a race for other drivers, including Lawson and Charles Leclerc. Wow. Just like I said again, what a race here. Race 2, a banger compared to race 1. Albert Park was still great, but that was just next level right there. That was an absolute blast of a race as Liam Lawson gets to hop out of his car and celebrate. Of course, if this is real life, I don't think Liam Lawson would be getting that handshake and celebration from Lando Norris, but Lawson's going to celebrate victory nonetheless. His first win in Formula 1, very different from his current struggles in real life at Red Bull. Here's what Charles Leclerc had to say on the podium.
I watched him use up Lando a few laps before, then he just drove through me on the last lap. There's no place for that here.
I'm sure Lando Norris will have some input as well, but Lawson still comes out on top. Sainz P8, Albon P7, Gasly in the points there for Alpine. Verstappen ends up P10, and of course Hamilton and Doohan with the retirements out of this race. So we have got no points yet, but fortunately Sainz has had 2 great races to pick up points for Trackhouse. Now he's actually P9 with 13 points. Leclerc is 10 points in front of Liam Lawson, 11 points in front of Verstappen, as Red Bull have a 1-point advantage over Ferrari. Mercedes and McLaren trailing, and then Trackhouse 40 back. What a wild start to the season. It's only going to get better. I'll see you guys in the next one from Suzuka. Thank you for watching. Have a great day.